Hello folks, welcome to Kaisers Kastle. It is Sunday, April Fool's Day, and it's Easter. So, I thought it fitting that I postponed. I was going to do it a few days ago, but I postponed this stream. And while I entitle it, The Meeting is Always Arranged by God, Deus Vult, as a Lifestyle of Honor. And then with the subheading, Sic vis Pacum para Bellum. Alright. Deus Vult, as most know, is God arranges the meeting, basically. God will bring the meeting forward. And the lifestyle of honor that I want to talk about is the chivalry codes. Excuse me. And basically, you know, treat women nice, this, that, and the other. Protect the weak, the sick, the innocent. But fight for your beliefs. At that time, it was the belief in God. There was a struggle between 7th century, they've never evolved from it, Islamo-terrorist at that time, and what they would do in Acre, Jerusalem. And of course, that brought the Teutons to prevalence, because without them, the defense of Acre would never have been successful. And so the Teutonic Knights, you know, before they were branded heretics and hunted down, very few left, they were a part of the entire chivalric code warrior class. You might want to think of it as sort of a European samurai class. Now, how does that relevant in today's world? So much has changed. The internet, you look at weaponry, massive changes, right? These things hold true. But the mentality didn't change on one side, and yet that code, when somebody's chivalrous, was put down in the West, and men actually behaved that way. Now, why do I bring that up? The reason why is because over time, as with all things, things get watered down. And we can look all the way back, in my belief, the beginning of it would have been during the First World War, when you had the Kaisers standard, which I have posted, becoming the still Gott mit uns is Germany's motto. God is with us. But during that First World War, who did we fight? The Ottoman Turks and the Austro-Hungarian Pact. And it was England and us. And of course, we were brought into the war. And with that war, we also got the IRS, where they had voluntary income tax, short term to be sure, but was it short term? No, it never went away, did it? Then the men, all the men, started to, and Weimar Germany is a prime example of it, started to become degenerate. In the West, the East to a point, but by the end of that war, you'd already had the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. Well, we know how that started and who funded it and all this. I mean, I'm not getting into that esoterica. It takes me off my point on chivalry. Chivalry is a good thing. Treat your girl, your wife, your daughter with respect. Always defend the weak and the innocent. These things are a part of a good pass down we've had of knowledge in the West. But we've taken it to an extreme to where the weak now, because of our niceness, our politeness, our chivalry and chivalrous attitude, have looked at it as weakness. And I remember when I was young learning that hard lesson. But we were able to push back because there were still older men, World War II veterans, Korean veterans, and you still had Vietnam veterans that, you know, were strong men. They'd come up a different way. They had taken the way of the warrior. We still have that within our warrior class that we have in the West. But it's been dwindling. We no longer have massive drafts to inculcate and indoctrinate people in an appreciation through travel. Honestly, I think travel is the best teacher. It's a lot better than books, college, anything else. It expands the mind. And it makes you appreciate what you have. With that appreciation comes a desire of defense, a desire to maintain what not only you have worked for, but what your ancestors worked for, fought for, bled for, and died for. That is an important thing. If you're of the religious sort, during the time of the Crusades, it was a religious war, and the fallacy that we have in modernity, because it's been pushed by the left so hard, is that those darn crusaders started the war. No, they didn't. It came from an invasion. An invasion just like we see today of the second and third world invading our countries, except at that time men rallied. Now men still rally to this day for the cause. But instantly when they do it, they're a hater, they're a racist, they're a xenophobe. All these new words, new terminologies. If somebody would have used that even up into the Second World War, where we were calling Germans Krauts, Japanese Japs. Don't go to war talking about people politely and expect to win. There is a vilification process that must happen. It must occur. Because you cannot look at the uncivilized as civilized when you do battle. There was some of that occurred during the First World War. The Christmas armistice, things like that can be brought to bear and to be looked at and seen for what it is. So these things, I notice I'm not live, so I'm just going to record it. Whatever they've done with YouTube, I'll put it down later and you'll be hearing it. Maybe they just blocked me, who knows, but I will have the recording. But what I'm saying about this is very important. The people in the West, the men, need to take back what was lost. Need to rediscover masculinity. Need to rediscover the honor. Or else the West is lost and will be vanquished. That's the nature of things. That is the order of things. And these things happen. So, I've laid out Deus Vult as a lifestyle of honor. God will always arrange the meeting. There have been people I've met in my past. I've always been able to say, we'll meet again. And I have met them again. through many different conflicts. And if you think that your meetings are ever an accident, they're not. Men of note, men of valor, even on opposite sides, enemies, will meet. And on those days, those are important days. No matter the outcome, the meeting is what is important. That is what gives life meaning. So on either side of the fence, one will learn, one will win, and one will be vanquished. The object is not to be the vanquished one. So with sic vis pacum para bellum, what that means is if you want peace, prepare for war. It's very simple. The only way peace has ever been brought anywhere has been through warfare. That's an undeniable fact. And the warfare that the West has used for years, limited war, these kind of things, police actions, well, they'll never be resolved. You can't resolve something if you don't resolve it through total and complete capitulation of one side or the other. And when you lose that desire to maintain and fight for capitulation, then the war is lost. And you will have lost it. So limited warfare is faulty. It should be, in the West, it needs to go away. We need to actually wage wars of capitulation, where one side must heed or stand hill to the winner. And it's the weak, unfortunately. And when I say weak, I'm not talking about weak people. I'm talking about the ill-prepared, the people that have become soft, lazy, complacent. They have to lose a lot in order to wake up and maybe fight back. And with Imperium, which is what we've become, an empire, like I've said in another video, you know, we are now communists, pretty much, in my opinion. And with that comes a certain amount of rot. So, as I say, fight back against the degeneracy. That's the easy method. Bring up a civil discourse so you don't have a very uncivil war. That's the thing you never want to see. But if you do go to a war with a nation, you bring everything to bear down upon that other nation. The nation state is the way of the world and the future. Globalism is being fought against right now everywhere globally. And if you look who's being vilified today, you'll see it's nations that are turning to nationalism, being proud of their nation. Look at Syria. We had tried to foment for years Arab nationalism, right? Pan-Arab nationalism. And yet, with the Syrian civil war, we did. Nobody can doubt this. We fomented that. ISIS, John B. Wells is very correct. ISIS is USIS. And we fomented that. And what did the Syrian people do? They stood with Assad because they became Syrians. We couldn't even do that with the Iraqis. Not even with the Afghanis, to make them feel pride in their nation state. But these people did it spontaneously. that genie, which once is out of the bottle, changes the dynamics of the Near East. And we're seeing it globally. It's changing the dynamics in every nation now, because everybody sees what's going on. So just like Christ rising on Easter, take this day, mark it. This is not an April Fool's joke. As a day of thanks for, just like Christ fighting the hell, coming back and giving the word through his resurrection that he was the Messiah. This date, I believe, is the date that people will realize the rise of nationalism is upon us again. With that being said, happy Easter. Don't play too many pranks during this holiday of April Fools. Have a great day. And with that, thanks a lot to Vandervoid picking up my content. Appreciate that. Remember, like, share, comment. Let me know. Thanks for the comments about my one program being very light. I tried to shut down my mic a little bit so I didn't get the background noise. Well, I was successful with that, but I had to turn my volume all the way up just to hear it, and it sounded very small. So thank you for your input. Don't think I don't read and listen to your advice, all of you out there. Thanks for sitting on my big orange couch, popping a nice cold one, drinking a tea or a coffee, nice hot one, wherever you are in the world. This is a fairly long one, and I didn't mean to go this long. But with that being said, shove out.